Welcome back to distributive property. This is take 2, or the second video of notes. So the distributive property, as I was saying, looks like this. It can come in handy when you need to do mental multiplication or mental math, such as if we had 8 times 34. That's kind of hard. If we didn't have any paper and pencil, we could then break this down into 8 times, whoops, no more x's, 8 times 30 plus 8 times 4, which are both easy to do in our heads because we have the basic fact of 8 times 3, which is 24, 1 0 in our problem, 1 0 in our answer, plus 8 times 4 is 32, so we very easily have 272. In addition, let's see, how about you practice one? I'm going to show you another way we can use the distributive property. If we had 30, sorry, I had to think for a second, 28 times, sorry about that. If we had 28 plus 63, we could write that a different expression by pulling out a common factor. Most times you'll want to find the greatest common factor, but any common factor would do. In this case, I know that 28 and 63 have 7 as a greatest common factor. So if I pull out groups of 7 from 28, I ask myself what times 28, or what times 7 would equal 28. So in this case, it would be 4 plus what times 7 equals 63. And in this case, it would be 9. So now I could do either add 4 and 9 together first and get 13 times 7. And since I know that 7 times 12 is 84, 7 more would then give, or because I need 13 groups of 7, I need to add 7 more to 84. So 84 plus 7 is 91. And if I did this out over here, like our normal writing addition, 63 plus 28, 8 plus 3 is 11, carry the 1, 6 plus 2 plus 1 is 9. So we get the same answer no matter which way we do it. It's just now we have a different way that we can solve that, and it might come in handy for different situations. And when we get into algebra, you will see where it comes in handy. So now let's take a little practice and try to apply the 3 different properties that we've been working on. The commutative property, associative property, and distributive property. So right here we're just going to show that this is practice. So if I gave you 34 times 63, I want you to rewrite it using the commutative property. If you can't remember what the commutative property is, look back in your notes. How do we apply the commutative property? Hopefully, you wrote 63 times 34, because the commutative property tells us that order doesn't matter. So we can change the order of our numbers without changing our product or our sum. And if we solved both of these, we could see that each side was indeed equal. And if you want to take the time to do that, to prove it, you are more than welcome to do that. Now let's try 6 plus 3 plus 5, and let's use the associative property. Apply the associative property to this problem. Again, if you can't remember what the associative property does, look back in your notes and try to apply it. Hopefully, you wrote 6 plus 3 plus 5. And this demonstrates the associative property, which tells us that the grouping doesn't change our answer. So we want to draw special attention to the fact that it was our parentheses that moved. And we can solve this one quick to prove it. 8 plus 6 is going to equal 14, just like 9 plus 5 is going to equal 14. And let's try the distributive property using 4 groups of 5 plus 8. Show that down here. Remember, when we use the distributive property, the biggest thing we want to do is to pass out the groups of these numbers. So make sure you pass out to both numbers, both sets of numbers. I like to think of a Pepsi distributor who is going to deliver Pepsi. He can't just deliver Pepsi to Hy-Vee. He's got to deliver Pepsi to Hy-Vee and Price Chopper, otherwise it would not be fair. So just like it wouldn't be fair just to give the groups of 4 to 5 and not to the 8, you've got to pass out the groups to both numbers. So in this case, 4 times 5 would give us 20, plus 4 times 8 would give us 32, which would equal 52. And in this case, if we added 5 plus 8, that would equal 14. No, 13. And 4 groups of 13 would equal 52 as well. So here we demonstrated the distributive property, which should remind you to pass out. Tomorrow in class, you can look forward to learning some hand motions to help us to remember these, and then we will practice applying all 3 of these properties for a couple of days and start applying them to algebra. Thank you for taking your notes today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.